Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is a delight to have you here. I have truly been enjoying the journey with many of you through the human, through the calling, and I felt that one element really was missing because another client of me would speak and she was like calling me. She's like, "Oh, I think I have corona," right? She had corona. So she said, "I can't come." And I would normally have thought, "Oh my," and then I thought, of course, Lynn. And then so let's introduce Lynn. Hi, Lynn, welcome. It is so good that you are here. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And I want to say, first of all, a big hug to Caroline, because it's horrid, this virus, and so I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to stand in for you. But big hugs and get well soon. That's what I want to say to you first.
Just a little share, like what did you say? Because I reached out on Messenger, like, "Hi, Lynn, I have a question." Just pretty last minute. I already introduced the whole thing. Like, can you, what did you say?
I said, "Hello, Sigrid." And she said, "I have a question for you." So I said something like, "Fire away." And she said, "Caroline is not able to come this evening. Are you excited about jumping in?" And I said, "Yes, I am, because I've just been listening to your morning talk this morning at 7:30. And you said you're going to have a special guest." And I was thinking, oh, it must be quite nice to be the special guest. And then I get this phone call and yippee, here I am. So that's how it happens.
Share. What do you do?
I think I probably work in the most non-spiritual business on the planet, because I work as a trainer on super yachts that are owned by all the Russian oligarchs and now being arrested, and the yachts being seized, Saudi Arabians, arms dealers, all of those sort of people who have billions of dollars and buy super yachts. So it is an extraordinary experience. I worked on them for many years, for about 12 years before I got married and had children, and then stayed in what I've always enjoyed doing, which is hospitality. And then I came down to the south of France really because my mother was getting remarried, and my sister, my twin sister, who'd been working on super yachts, back to Australia and all be good, but I was offered a job, and so I thought, if I don't do it now, I will never do it. Knew nothing about the yachting industry, and it's very different from the industry it is now. So I just said yes, which is kind of how I've lived my life. If opportunities come and it feels good, then I'm going to say yes. So I jumped in, and 12 years later, I was still doing it as chief stewardess on super yacht. So it is an industry which requires a lot of spirituality on behalf, well, probably the owners as well, but certainly on the crew, because it's can be very taxing, a job like that, which sounds terribly glamorous. It's like, so you travel to beautiful places, then you stay in nice hotels and all of this sort of stuff. But of course, there's the more challenging sides to it. And it's the same on super yachts. So you're living in small spaces. So on an aircraft, at least you get off and go to hotels. But crew live together, different cultures, lots of different personalities, and all of that can be quite a challenge on top of very long hours, very demanding guests.
And can you share, because there was this moment where you came into my world, what happened?
I have absolutely no idea how your email arrived in my inbox, because I hadn't been following you, I hadn't heard your name. All of a sudden there was an email in there which I clicked on, and something about it really resonated. And I don't know what it was even, but I just felt drawn to it. And then we had a conversation. We talked, you and I loved the idea of your program. And so I jumped in, and that was probably 2 years ago now.
Can you share, when you started the journey, where you were at?
Yes, I almost feel like I was definitely on my path, because I'd been studying personal development for probably at least 20 years by then. But I don't know why I felt drawn to this program, but I tell you what has happened is that all of the other teachings that I've been delving into and listening to and engaging in suddenly started to make a lot more sense. I think I hadn't embodied a lot of it until I came into your program. So it was really, for me, it was the program that put everything else into place.
Can you share more, if you say embodied, what did you embody exactly? What was the change?
The change was making the steps, doing the things that I knew I had to do, whereas before they were on a peripheral level, and now I was actually making it happen. It's a bit like the saying, knowledge is power, and it really isn't. It's the use of the knowledge that's power. So I had the knowledge, I had a lot of knowledge. I'd been following all sorts of people for a long time, probably people that many people in this group have been following, you know, Wayne Dyer and Greg Braden and all of those sort of people. And they were making sense to me, but I wasn't bringing those practices into my life. And so now I think I really am. And I made a specific decision last September after the retreat that I came to, that I was going to embody the trust, because that was something that was really missing in my life. And so I took a bit of some downtime, which is probably kind of enforced as well because of the training program slowed down because of COVID. So we weren't able to travel and the yachts were held up in shipyards and all that sort of stuff. So it was a very good time for me to really start thinking about how I wanted to put these things into practice. So I decided I was going to trust. I was going to really, what I was saying to myself is, okay, I've been listening to this law of attraction stuff, and for a long time, I've got the lesson, I understand it, but now I have to put it into practice. And it's not an easy road. It's not something that you say, yep, that's going to happen, and it happens. It really isn't. It's something where you make step forwards and then you go back into your kind of little zone of comfort or of not trusting and what ifs and why is this happening and that sort of thing. But what I've noticed, certainly from the journey since September till now, is that those times where I go back a little bit, I can come forward again much more quickly. So I definitely feel that I'm embodying the trust element. And I can even feel that I can say to myself now, just trust, just let go and trust. And a lot of the fear that I had 6 months ago really isn't there to the same intensity. I absolutely know that. And that's been a fantastic step forward for me.
For clarity reasons, the retreat is part of the experience now. It didn't used to be, right? Because at first it was, and then we had COVID, and then I stopped with doing the retreat. But the retreat is just everything, right? The retreat is like magic. We'll talk about the different stuff, but can you share more about your, like, what was the experience in the retreat itself?
Well, it was quite a surreal experience because Sigrid, what you do, it gives us access to such vast knowledge from such a high level, and it's really a privilege to be the recipient of all of that. You really feel like you're getting direct access to the divine. This is how I feel it, because it's not a human perspective, it's a much grander perspective, and that's what you bring, I think, every day. When every day that I listen to the calls at 7:30, there's no other way I want to start my day. So I'm doing you in your 40-day intention of doing something. So I'm at the gym every day, and I'm listening to your call whilst I'm there on my little Nordic walker thing. So for me, it's a very intentional way of starting the day.
Can you share a little bit more? Because for us, this is really normal. Like, what do you mean when you talk about the 7:30? Because people are like, what? Like, some people know, but a lot do not. Because what is happening during the week on 7:30?
Okay.
Right.
So 7:30 every weekday morning, Sigrid does what is called a soul with Sigrid, where she greets us in the day and brings forward a special message. And it's a beautiful way to start the day, because I think what's happened, Sigrid, is that you've before it seemed to be wholly channeling, and now it feels like it's a meld of your personality, your knowledge, your experience, and the channeling. So it's very much a co-creation. For me, it is. And it always has a message that will resonate with anybody that's listening to it, because we all have our own interpretations of that. But it is beautiful to start the day, particularly when you live on your own, as I do, to actually start the day with a group of people. So lovely people like Anderho, who I've not met in person, but she's always there greeting everybody and liking their little or loving their little messages. And then we get a chance to comment on how the message has hit us and how we would interpret that. So it's lovely. Start the day with a group of like-minded people with a beautiful message to carry on. And it's just you said, it's setting the intention for the day. Like, I can see a difference in myself. I've made a conscious effort, get up, be in the gym early, for an hour, and while I'm there, I'm on the Nordic waters, I'm moving my body physically, but I'm also nourishing my mind. I'm listening to your calls, and with that frame of mind, when I come back, I'm already energized. And so the next choice I make for the day is what I'm going to eat or drink or whatever. And so that becomes a more conscious choice. And because I've already started working out and listening to some spiritual teachings, then I feel in a better frame of mind to eat more healthily. And having done that, then it rolls into the rest of the day.
What is the difference between doing your spiritual practice in the morning without this live experience, like of 50 minutes in the morning, or with? What is the difference? Because for people to understand, because they're like, well, I'm listening to a meditation, I'm doing my thing. Okay, so what is this? What is the specifics around this? What making it different or more valuable to you?
Because I feel that I have a direct connection to spiritual teachings because you're bringing them in directly through you. So that's how I just feel that it's such a privilege to have that knowledge and that wisdom to start my day. And I know meditations are beautiful and you go into your own kind of interpretation of that. It's, for me, I feel fully focused on what you're saying. I know when I'm meditating, my mind wanders this way and that way. But for you, because you start in a very human way, and you often tell us what you're going to do with your day or an experience from the weekend or whatever it might be, and then you bring in the message for the day. And every day it's different. And every day it resonates, and every day it comes from divine. And so that's how I feel about it. That's the difference for me.
So we also have, like, I'm just curious, like, just to get the variety. What is what do you experience during a Q&A? What does it mean for you? What has it been meaning for you to be able to experience that on a weekly basis?
Again, it feels like a co-creation and such a connection with people who, even some of them who you haven't met physically, some you have if you've been to a retreat, but you feel you know these people, you know them because you know their challenges in life, you know, you've followed their path. These are people who are genuinely authentic. So for me, I feel incredibly safe in this community because I know there's nothing that I would say that people would judge me about because they're too far through their personal development process to judge. They're an accepting group of people, they're supportive. The questions come from the heart. And you know, like in everything, somebody's question is something that you want an answer to as well, quite often. So issues that I might be having with a 25-year-old son, somebody else is having with their 26-year-old daughter. And so they ask the question, I go, this applies to me too. This is what I'm experiencing. And then there's that immediate connection to that other mum who's going through the same thing. So it's all about connecting, supportive people, people you know you can rely on, and feeling in a very authentic place. Nobody's saying anything to impress anybody. Nobody's saying anything to make money. Nobody's saying anything for any other reason except they really want to find the answers to their questions and they're really reaching out to be helped. And invariably they are.
And for you, like, what is the difference for you, for example, between that and an embodiment class on the Thursday? What is the difference in experience?
So the embodiment class is really where you channel information on a particular subject. And so that's a more broad experience, whereas the Q&As are more specific, short questions and answers, so that everybody has an opportunity to ask a question specific to them.
And like when you are going, like, because I know you've like been in a lot of activations, that's another part of what we experience, right? What has the impact been of that for you?
Yeah, it always feels like an up-leveling of your own energetic system. So it's a reinforcement, really, I think, and it happens on this regular basis. So you're always being fed the reinforcement of your own belief system that you've created through the teachings, which feel authentic to you, to each individual, however you've interpreted the teachings. And yeah, I think that's it. I think it's just a strengthening of your beliefs.
Maybe you wouldn't have all of that. What would be different? Because I know, like, you were full when you came to me. There was nothing wrong with you. You didn't need me. Like, let's be very specific. You didn't choose me because there was something and you had a big problem. And they were like, no, it was none of that. It came from desire, right? I desire to be in this space, which is a very, very different energy. And I love to lead people into this space from that energy. Like, do you desire it or do you feel like you need it? Because then it's really not for you. Because if you need something, you're trying to fix, like, that's not the energy, right? It's like, no, I desire to step into the next.
Yeah, because I must have had this innate feeling that somewhere I wasn't using all the knowledge that I'd acquired. I needed to embody it, but I didn't know that at the time. I just felt called. I just felt like this is something I really wanted to do. I didn't think about the background reason why, because I didn't feel empty in any way, as you say. But now I can see, if I look in retrospect, that what's happened is that I have been able to take the spiritual teachings to the next level. I've been able to put them into practice. I've been able to, when I do fall back in a human way, when the worry starts coming in, then I'm able to manage it a lot better. So I can see incrementally that has improved over this last couple of years, for sure. I'm not going, help, and feeling in a fearful place for very long at all. I can honestly say now, it can sometimes just be moments when I just say to myself, come on, just trust. Just trust. Yeah.
And it dive in every day. It's like you don't slide as you used to, right? It's like, no, back, let's go back. Yeah.
No, exactly. And the doubt goes, because as I say, this daily practice, or 5 days in every week, and then the 2 calls, it reinforces everything. And you have this solid kind of foundation that's there. And we are co-creating. So you don't feel like you're, we've all been through it, I'm sure, where we were the only one in our families that thought like this. And we all thought we were a bit bonkers, or nobody wanted to talk to us, or don't speak like that in front of me. And you're a bit strange, aren't you? And all of that. I've had all of that said to me. But here is this safe space where we know, we have this inherent feeling that we're on the right path. It doesn't feel woo-woo. It just feels so true in so many ways. And when you constantly plug into it, you get the reinforcement of it. And what I love is, if you do miss some of the meetings that we have, they're always recorded. So you've always got a chance to listen to them again. Or if there's
sometimes you're very busy, right? During summer, you're going to like everywhere, like Saint-Tropez and Cannes, and I'm not here. She's like, on all those yachts. I'm like, wow, I'm listening to the replay. Yeah.
So then I would listen to the replay. Exactly. So you have a chance to do that in your own time. But I think this little discipline of, if you're able to, because obviously some people might not be able to for various reasons, if you can just make that part of your day to start the day with Sigrid, that is such a strong foundation. It really is. It is something that I really look forward to. I get up and I think, oh, am I going to the gym? Yes, I'm going to the gym, and I'm going to listen to Sigrid while I'm on there. And it becomes this joyous part of my day.
Because it can seem like a lot. People can feel like a lot of work, right? And I'm always saying, like, well, in order to change, it's important to have a lot of touching points, so you feel the energy and you become it. So you say, like, it doesn't feel like work. No. It never feels like work. It feels like something I look forward to. I really look forward to it. So not just the teachings, but also the connection with all the other people. I see these people and they feel like my best friends. Because they're there every morning. The same people are always there. And I can see Anna Marie's face there, and we sat together in the retreat, and we've had a phone conversation, and we know about each other's families, and she's always there. And other faces that are always there, Iris, I can see. I don't see many people, but yeah. So these people seem really familiar to me, yes.
Anique and Monica and Ira and Retail. These people, some I've met and some I haven't, but they are people I see twice a week, at least on these calls, and sometimes, you know, see their messages every morning. These are my friends.
Can you share the difference between maybe a normal friendship, say normal in real life, and the difference between having this space with like-minded people? What is the difference?
You can, you know, it's because this group is so loving and so accepting. So with your friends, there might be a little more, I don't know, I don't want to say judgmental because my friends aren't judgmental, but they might, they certainly would react in different ways, in a less open way, because they would be trying to fix something. Whereas nobody in this group tries to fix anything. They might make some suggestions, or they might, mostly they're just completely empathetic, whether, you know, there's an understanding there, because many of us have been on this same path. You know, getting onto the spiritual path, and I've had people say, well, how did you know you were on your spiritual path? I have no idea. I just started being drawn to certain books or certain teachings. And why can't you be like you were before? Well, I actually don't want to be like I was before. Kind of a bit silly. I can be as silly as you like, but I actually like the way my life is unfolding. We're all dynamic, we're all changing all the time, and we have this power within us. And so with this power, we really do create our lives on purpose. I was saying that forever. Oh, we all create our own realities. I didn't really know what it meant. Now I know what it means. Now I know exactly what it means.
Share more about that, because I think it's so beneficial for people to hear, like, what are those clicks? One is trust, right?
Yeah.
One is I belong, like I'm home, or I belong, like I'm safe in the sense of I can just be who I am, and there's just love. There's no other, like, and it can be so liberating to have a space where you can be surrounded with love and nothing else, because that really helps to come into alignment with your own vibration, right? It's not adapting, it's not adjusting, it's not putting boundaries on. It's like, oh, I get to be in this place. What about your intuition?
Yeah, I believe I'm very intuitive. I'm certainly very empathetic. You know, I see that as the spiritual part of me. I love the idea that I'm a spiritual being rather than just a human being. I really love the fact that I can control my life, or adjust my life, or create my life in a way that I really want to. And it absolutely is all up here. It's all about processing thoughts. And when you really learn that, and trust is just another thought to process. So you either say, I don't trust, or make a conscious decision to trust.
But it's beautiful what you say, because a lot of people know. I know all the people on the call here know this, right? They know I need to trust. The problem is they do not trust. They know I'm actually safe because there's no tiger in the woods, like there's no one here, but they don't feel safe. Or they know I'm capable, or they know I'm abundant, but then there's this pause into becoming abundant, becoming safe. Like that is the new reality. What is happening? What has been happening in this like last year, where you altered it into I am? That's a big difference, right? It's a difference, like I have a thought, into but I am this.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think I just got fed up of not trusting. You know, when you just get to the point where you think this isn't the way I want to live my life. I don't want to live a fearful life. I want to really feel what it feels like in a life where I trust. I really want to feel what it feels like when I allow the law of attraction to bring good things to me, because I expect those to happen. And so it becomes an easier way of living, because it's jolly hard work to be worried about everything all the time and to be fearful of things all the time. And so it is extraordinary that when you do step into it, and it's a conscious decision, and it doesn't happen, as I said earlier, it doesn't happen overnight. Just make the first step. Say, today I'm going to trust, just today. And as soon as that thought comes in, that fearful thought, I'm just going to say, no, go away. I am in my trusting mode today. So I'm not interested in you, fearful thought, off you go. So, and just do it like that. And then do it again and do it again and do it again. So this spiritual practice, put it into, but just go for it, because nothing bad can happen. Just say, today I'm going to trust, and then see that your life hasn't got any worse. It's actually been an easier day for you because you've let go. You've just let go of it.
You know, it's like, for you, it sounds really easy. I know people are thinking about those important parts in their life, right? Okay, so now I want to take the leap and, I don't know, create a business. I want to take the leap and end my marriage. I want to take the leap and jump into one of these programs. I want to take the leap, like uncomfortable, like excel, like not, like fear. Fear comes in, doubt, like resonance, like people know, I know the people here know the feeling of, this is resonating with me. Most people know. I desire this. Most people know. And it's not just the thought usually, right? The thought is one thing, but what you said is like, well, for 20 years, I knew all the stuff. I just it didn't drop into, this is trust, or this is how I apply trust and lead with trust and live with trust, or oh, this is self-love, or all of those things, right? Can you share like a little bit more about which things, states you have been embodying? Like trust is one. What else? What kind of states in your being did you start embodying?
I very easily embodied self-love, because it's easy to beat yourself up. And especially when you come out of a marriage, because you often think it's your fault, and oh dear, the children, and they wouldn't have chosen this, but you've chosen it. How selfish can you be? And all of this, beating yourself up. But when I learned to love myself, in other words, I gave myself the things that I thought were wrong. When I just thought, everything that I've done because in that moment, it seemed like the right thing to do for all of the reasons that I had in that time. Yes, now you look back and you think, oh, I might do something a little differently. But in the moment when you made the decisions, that was the right thing for you. So don't beat yourself up for that, because it's taken you and brought you to the path that you're on now. And you've learned the lessons on your way. But all of it, the trust, the self-love, it's all a very gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight, and you do slip back. There aren't times when there are still times when I still feel fearful. It's just that it becomes less and less and less, and you recover from it more quickly. But it is definitely, there is this ease when you do embody the self-love and the trust, because it's your natural state. Those are natural states, because otherwise anything else, the construct of the mind where fear is there, false evidence appearing real, where that fear, you allow it to be there. And it's almost feeding this pain body, is what Eckhart Tolle would call it. There is this buzz that you feel when you are fearful, or you're in a state of even things like hate. Or dislike of something, or any imbalance, there is this kind of, I don't know, it's like a feeding of some part of you. Maybe it's the egotistical part, I don't know. But it's very uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable.
So you say, what I started embodying is self-love and trust and ease. Those three most importantly, or is there more to add?
I wake up every morning and I say good morning to myself. So I live on my own. And I start giving gratitude. And I wake up, particularly now because of what's happening in Ukraine. I wake up and I say, oh, so lucky to be in this bed, to have this view, to have work, to all of that stuff. And then I start in this joyous way of giving gratitude. So many things I'm grateful for, even the fact that I've got running water to make tea or coffee or whatever it might be. My car, drive to the gym. Thank you for having an able body. Thank you, I'm able to do this. So many things to give gratitude. So self-love is that, it's nurturing yourself. It's feeling the gratitude. In other words, because whatever you've got in your life, you've created, but with all the decisions that you've made. So thank you for choosing this life. Thank you for the friends you've got. Thank you for finding Sigrid's program. All of these things you've created. So it's in the recognition of that you see that you created some really damn good stuff in your life. Yes, we make mistakes. Sometimes our husbands or boyfriends might drive us bonkers, or our dogs might, or our kids might, or whatever. But don't focus on the negative things. Focus on the positive things about those entities in your life.
When I felt like, when I share, like, anchor in like heightened states of, right, that's this is it. Like, I can be joyous in a way in my daily life, not just when I have to write it on a piece of paper, not just when I'm meditating. It's an integrated part of my reality to perceive and live my reality in a joyous state. To perceive, exactly. And does that mean you never feel emotional? No, it doesn't, because you're human. So you will get those but the change, what you're saying, like getting back on the horse, that's just so much easier. Joy, gratitude, ease, like all of the good stuff. And what happens then? Synchronicities, things start coming to you, right? Like life is different then. Life is to be experienced different.
Totally different. And it's quite a simple concept, really, when you get your head around it.
Yeah.
So because what you're doing is you're making a conscious choice through a thought process. So the thought process is a stream of energy. And if that's a positive stream of energy, it's vibrating at a very high level. So we live in an electromagnetic field around our bodies. We live in an earth that is surrounded by electromagnetism. And so when we're vibrating at a higher level, at a high level of joy or gratitude or love, then that is attracting outside influences, people, circumstances to our lives from the quantum field. It has to happen because we live in this electromagnetic universe.
And it went from a theory. Everyone knows law of attraction. If any one of you knows Abraham Hicks, I mean, it's like all of those teachers, it's knowing, but then the difference is you now own it. And you can choose whatever state you want to choose. And that is a big difference, right? That's just...
That's the empowerment. When you really realize that you are in total control of your thoughts, therefore you're in total control of the state of your life. And when you're in total control of the state of the life and the choices you make and the circumstances you're creating, that's where you want to be. Then you have a state of being that you really want to be in. And when you're not living in that state of being, you feel uncomfortable. You just feel your vibration is low. You have sadness, you have depression, you have disappointment, all of these low vibrations, because you're not where you're meant to be. And on really, it's not even a physical level. On a physical level, all sorts of things are happening. You're creating all sorts of hormones in your body and which are depleting your energy, which are breaking down your immune system. But on an energetic level, when you're vibrating well and the energy is running through your body, you've got all your chakras open, which is sending energy easily through your body. Otherwise, you're blocking it. If you're not exercising self-love, you've got your heart chakra closed. If you're not speaking your truth, you've got your throat chakra closed. If you're not where you want to be, where you're living, you've got your root chakra closed. You're not. So all of those things manifest themselves, or your thoughts manifest not only in an energetic level in your body, but also in a biophysical level in your body. And when you're out of whack, this is where dis-ease comes from. This is where you're going to have eruptions on your skin, your hair might fall out, your digestive system goes haywire. Why do you think when you're worried, your digestive system doesn't work well? It's all interlinked. It's the thoughts that are creating that in your body. Like the example I gave in the theatre. Your thoughts are creating all of this reaction. So make them happy thoughts, because when you're happy thoughts, and you've got endorphins and dopamine and serotonin flooding through your body, it means that your heart chakra is open, you're breathing better. You're not going, you're breathing in an easier way. Your diaphragm is massaging your vital organs. Your immune system is boosted. Happy thoughts create a much healthier physical being. It's all interlinked.
Do you also feel that having the ability to really embody a different state and a level of awareness and consciousness, because that's really what we talk about. By doing that, you start having access to greater divinity yourself, because people start saying, she's a great teacher, she's channeling. Do you feel shifts in the purity or the access amount to your own divine channel, basically? The messages, the downloads, whatever. Sometimes some people feel it, sense it, knowing. Do you feel like being in this state also creates this openness so that you are able to receive, like, it's soul gift embodiment, right? So it's soul embodiment, gift embodiment. Can you feel that as well shifting? Has that been shifting?
Yeah, 100%. I know that I'm living at a higher state of consciousness. So I don't channel. I would like to be able to channel, but I don't channel. I don't have the ability yet. Maybe it'll come. But what I do know, with every
it's an unconscious channel, everyone, just saying.
Yeah, yes, maybe. Yes. But what I do know is I live at a higher state of consciousness. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's my aim. I know this is my purpose in life. I want everybody to have access to that higher state of consciousness, because they do. But I just would love, in my teachings, even the young stewardesses on the boats, this is what I want them to know, that life is not like this. Life is expansive and dynamic, and we all have access to this level of consciousness, which just means questioning the way you're thinking and how you're interpreting things, particularly if it's causing a physical reaction in your body which feels bad in some way.
I love it. You are an unconscious, you are channeling actually a lot.
You
would be unable to share so much knowledge in such a short time if it would just be you, like it's just more than that.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Well, I'm
and I kind of love that because it states how humble you are to who you are. Yeah, it's really good. So what would you say to people who like are thinking about, ooh, the accelerator? I've been hearing about it. I really want soul gift embodiment. I really want to anchor in a heightened state of consciousness. I just want to embody everything I've been learning. This is the moment. I've done all the personal development, all the spiritual trainings, and now I want to embody this. What would you say to them?
Well, this is the vehicle. You have access to the vehicle that's going to take you there. So I would just jump in, and I say that because I jumped in and it really helped me, and I had no idea what this journey would bring me to. I really didn't. I just knew that I wanted to have more help in moving forwards, and this particular, well, I can't imagine my life without it. So I now in my second year, because it is, as I've said earlier, it is a journey. It's a journey, and you have to be easy on yourself. Don't expect to go from here to the Dalai Lama by next Tuesday. It's just not going to happen. But you've got to enjoy it on the way.
Were you 100% comfortable investing in it? Well, was it like, I've been teaching about happy investment, right? Is it exciting to you? Do you desire to be in here? Yes, then it's a happy investment, great investment. For everything this is, right? Whether it is emotional investment, like time, fine, it doesn't matter. It's like happy investment, something what excites you is a great investment. Were you like on that? Was it easy for you to jump, or was it like, nah, I kind of need to, like, I had to?
It certainly took some consideration. But when I am earning well, as I was then, and starting to again now, when I'm doing that, for me, that investment in myself that takes my life to another level, and therefore my family and my friends and my students, for me, it's a beautiful investment. So if I thought of it only from a monetary investment, I would still have done it, because then I had, at the time when I invested, I had the money. But it's a choice. Everyone has access to the money. If for example, your roof fell in, you'd find whatever money you needed to mend the roof. Or if your child was ill and they needed a really expensive operation, you'd find it, because you make it happen. So in the wanting to make it happen, you will manifest the money in some way or another. How does it make you feel? Does it mean that you're nurturing yourself, that you're preparing yourself for the rest of your life, that you're changing your conscious thoughts into becoming the person you really want to be in a supportive group? Well, yes. And then maybe consider the alternative. If I don't do this, where will I be now in a year's time? going to be exactly the same place as I am now, umming and ahhing, and wondering what my next step should be. For me, it was even in hindsight, especially in hindsight, actually, it was a very good investment for me. It's spiritual, emotional, and financial.
And I love how you share, like, if there would be something, and I think this is an important point, because I think for me as well, when I started the journey and I was investing like first a little and then bigger things, it was a thing to invest in me. I recently, people who know me, we invested like $111,000, okay, everyone, in a year's program. Just so I know what it feels like to kind of go like, are you kidding me? That was like 2 years ago. So I know what it feels like. And if you choose you, it's like you can only make a good investment, right? But are you willing to choose you now or others? I felt that was an important shift for me. Like for me, it was very easy. Like now our car is broken because of like the accident. For me, it's really easy to make my partner happy and to give him like the experience to do that. But to invest in me was a different thing. Did you experience that as well? And I know there's all the empaths, all the intuitives, and there's something like investing in your business, like, oh, now it makes sense. I do a business training because it's business. Now investing in you. I'm asking you as a human, fully worthy of support. Different energy, right? Sick child, easy. But now it's about you. Can you share more about that?
Yeah. Well, I was at a stage in my life that I really wanted to expand my consciousness even more. And I saw this as a vehicle to do that. So, and maybe it's a different example because I didn't have dependents. So it was an investment in me, but that was a choice. I could have chosen to maybe go on an exotic holiday or buy a different car or whatever, but those weren't my priorities. My priorities were to take my life, my only life that I have, from where I was to the next level, because I really want to experience that. I don't want to stay where I was. I want to be able to expand in a dynamic, joyful way. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it is so worthwhile. It's so worthwhile.
I love it. I remember actually you talking, like, I remember buying a home in 2005, and I really was like just starting to work. And I remember telling my then partner, like, I want to buy the home as long as I can do personal development. That was the key at that moment. I just could feel if I could invest in anything, for me personally, and it still is the most important thing. And for me also my loved ones now, right, children, but that makes life good. That makes life important. For me, as a spiritual being in a container consistently with you, like now, or in my own mastermind, it's just like, it's so elevating for the soul. It really is.
And look at the impact your work has had on your children's lives. Look what it's brought into their lives. It's been amazing.
Yeah. So one other thing we have not been touching on, for the people who are starting now in April, and we're gonna, like, you will be able to onboard any moment. So that's different. I used to go for 12 months and it would start and then end and start and end. But what I felt is some people continue. So I prefer to hold the energy high and to start blending it so people can just be continuous in an elevation and not a kind of start-stop energy. So what I will do is I will record some practical things, and then we will dive into, so if you start now, you will be live to really experience those things I always teach at the start of the program. I will do that in April. But after that, you will have access to the recordings, and then we just dive in very high level teachings all the time, because I can feel that is really what this container is calling for. It's not like people just starting and kind of, no. People want to have like next level, high level things, and it really wants to come through. So this is going to be the energy. And also the retreats are back, so they will be part of it, which is really exciting. I'm going to do one for the American people in Mexico / the USA next year. So I've never done that. Very exciting, and probably one in Europe. So now I'm always doing them in Amsterdam, but I also wanted to make it easier for my American friends. So it's part of it. Yeah. And so for the people who are on this call, what I decided is, I'm just actually deciding that now. My team will be, what? So the price went like the price from now on will be 7,777. Okay, but I feel if you want to be in the energy and you really feel excited, it's gonna be for 24 hours, 5555. Okay, my team doesn't know this that I'm doing this. They will kill me. Or it's like 12 months of 555. Okay, so if you feel after Lynn, this is for me, you get to come. Send us an email. And if you feel like a call would be good just to kind of check out, ask my questions, you're more than welcome. You can also just dive in like Lynn did. Anything is like, we actually had a call, right? So we also had a call. Yeah.
Yes.
So it can be both ways, whatever. Some people are just like, no, know it, and others are like that. So is there anything you feel like adding, Lynn?
Oh, it's been a beautiful journey, Sigrid, and I'm very grateful that your email somehow came into my inbox. I've met some wonderful people, both in person and online here, and it's lovely seeing those faces and sharing their lives in this really authentic, beautiful, natural environment, and having access, as I said, to what I really believe to be such high energy information from a divine source, for me is invaluable, and I've loved it, and I'm enjoying it still, and now the results are coming where I am feeling completely different about the way that I live my life and process my thoughts. It's a beautiful place to be.
Thank you so much. And you get a lot of thanks from everyone. They love you as a teacher. Well, you are a teacher in your life, right? It's interesting. And you
Yes.
might not be a spiritual teacher as people would see you, but I always say like awakened leaders, like you are that in your zone, whether you are a mother, whether you have a business, spiritual business manager, it doesn't really matter. Like you don't need to work in order to be able to come here. You can have a spiritual business. You don't have to. You can be whatever. Like some are retired. It doesn't matter. It's just, do I feel called into this container of exquisite elevation? And it continues. Lynn said, like, I saw a video of you in 2019. Like, just watch one out of 2017. And they like, really? Like, you will love it. If you watch it, it's like, this is possible when you apply it, right? When you just listen to them.
Yeah, the change is extraordinary.
So, yeah, so Lynn, thank you so much. It was so delightful to have you here. You are just the most wonderful person. Like I love having you like close to me. It's so good. So thank you so much.
Well, I loved being here. Thank you. Thank you for asking me and thinking of me. And a big hugs, Caroline, if you're watching on the recording, or if you're here, I can't see you, but get better soon. And big love to everybody, all you lovely smiling faces on the call. I feel like I want to give you all the biggest hug. I really do.
Lynn, isn't it good? Like all these people on and
I know. Beautiful. Yeah.
So again, for everyone, just send an email and we will get you hooked up. Okay. Offer is for 24 hours. Bye everyone.
Bye.